Okay, so welcome back. This is going to be part 5 of hardwood flooring do-it-yourself. So we've already went through the process of showing the slabs of wood that I had that was rough cut with a chainsaw. I've got the edge cut down. I've got them to a 12-inch slab. Some of them are a little bit narrower, but for the most part, they are all pretty much 12 inches wide. I ran the dado on these, got them true on one side, ran it through the planer, got that smooth, flipped it over, got the other side smooth. Now what we have to do, and I had to separate some of these slabs of wood. What had happened, I think it was like 5 of these are not quite exactly true. They're close, but they are off, and you'll see what this one seems to be good. I don't know why I put it over here, and it might be one side's a little bit, it probably has a little bit of a bow to it, but that can work. So we're going to put this one over here. This is a little bit lighter to work with. So basically we have 4 slabs right here that I'm going to have to re-dado and get these, because I will show you what I'm talking about. If you remember in the last video, these had a little bit, and mine be the other side. But again, it could have been something on the workbench. Yeah, this one's got a little bit. You can see it. If I push down here, you can see this corner right here. So this needs to be tweaked a little bit. And the rest of these. So out of 17 slabs, only 4 of them have to be tweaked. So I spent the last couple days getting the shop ready, getting it cleaned out, putting 2 more workbenches up here, sorting out tools where I need them. I put this shelf up so I have somewhere to put nails, screws, wood glue, hardware, paint thinner, anything that I need. This is, and all this shelf up here is going to be for whenever I'm stacking wood. This right here, I have to go through these stacks of wood and tweak them, but this is all part of the flooring. I did the math. It's roughly right about 385 pieces of flooring that I need, and I'm gonna try to get about, no, I'm sorry, 285, not 385. I want to try to get like 300 pieces made up. So got my chainsaws back here, and this is going to be a work area. This is going to be an assembly area where I build stuff. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to process. I take these slabs and get this edge relatively smooth. Because if you notice right here, this is nowhere even close to a smooth cut. Now this was done with a chainsaw, and if you notice the difference here, I've already done this one. Now, there's usually a machine that you use, and it's called a joiner planer. And what it does, it takes a rough edge and makes it relatively smooth. This might not be the one I thought it was, but I'm going to show you the process of what we do. So what we're going to do, we're going to get the table saw unplugged, and make sure you always check it, because it could have stored energy. Nothing there. Great. We're dead now. No power. The purpose of this is a homemade joiner planer. And all this does, you set this up to get the blade to the height that you need. And if you notice that the blade pretty much is flush with this, but it's sticking past this wood. The purpose of this, again, is to get you a straight edge on a board that you need. So we look like we're pretty good lined up. And all we want to do is we're going to get a clamp. We're going to clamp this in place until I can get the joiner planer that I need. They're not cheap, they are expensive. We'll just clamp this in there. Like so. I won't pinch it too tight because I don't need it bending the fence. We're going to take another clamp and put it in there where it'll. Okay, so I got to slide that back just a little bit, or drop it down. I tell you what, I'll just drop it down a little bit to where that is hitting right there. So, so this side, I've already done this one. So we'll lay it right over here out of the way. And my chickens are having a fit. There's one of them right there. It's one of our Americanas. So, I want you to see the difference here. This is not a bad cut. It's relatively straight. But what we're going to do is we're going to run it across the table saw with that homemade jig. And we're going to take this edge and we're going to make it a lot smoother. Plug this in. We'll put some ear protection in, cut down on the decibels of the noise. And power on. And here you have a smoother edge, a lot smoother than there was before. You have, if you notice here, it's kind of hard to see, but it's like swirl marks. That's from the blade of the table saw. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and flip it over on the other side. We're going to run this one on this side because we want to try to have two good true sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the camera come in here on this side so you can actually see as this slab of wood goes through across the top of the table saw, it hits the blade, and as it's riding along the table, and the blade is taken off probably right about 1/8 of an inch, and when it hits this side right here, this is our true side. This is what's going to keep this slab of wood from twisting on us. So we'll put this in, earplugs in again. We'll see which side is better. One side is always better than the other. Power on. So, this right now has been planed down to a good, should be a good square edge, and we're going to see just how good it is. Now it's off a little bit. That means I need to take it down, run one more time. Let's check the other side. Let's check the far end. So we are super, super close on this side. We're going to flip it over. We're going to see how this side looks. And we want to go, see now what I have to do. It's still got a little bit here, so I have to run this side one more time because we can see daylight coming through right there. Let's check this far end and see what we got. The side's good, so it just tells me I got to run this again to try to get that down. So, we'll go to the next step. And this is the board, if I find it, right here. This is the one that I'm going to be using. And this is going to be part of the flooring. It's not a very long piece. But when you do your flooring, you have to have, you can't have all of your seams match up. So if you're doing flooring, and again, this is a good example of how rough this is. This is super, super rough, and this is rough sawn wood. So when you're doing flooring, you can see how off it is. We're not worried about that. So when you're doing flooring, if you buy it, you buy laminate, real hardwood flooring, whatever, your boards, the seams cannot match up like that. They need to be staggered, like so. By doing that, it makes a stronger floor. Just space them out, kind of like so. It makes a stronger floor, and overall it looks a lot better once these edges are all cut nice and square and they're smooth. It's a lot stronger. So let's pull this off to the side. Now what I have to do, remember I said I got 285, I want to try to get 300. You have to get you one good piece that you need, and this is the piece that I'm going to use. And I don't know where my tape measure's at, but I always have a way to measure. So we're going to flip this over and see how wide this piece is. Right now, this is just over 2 1/4. Okay, so this is fine. When I do each one of these blanks, I'm going to do them, each of the pieces of flooring is going to be 2 inches wide. And what I want is I'm going to go ahead and, cut me 2-inch blanks. And a blank is going to be like a square piece of wood. But what you have to do is you have to figure out what is going to give you the best or the most amount of wood. Now, like I said, we want to cut it probably 2 1/4, 2.5 inches wide. So we have, extra that we can take off. So we're going to look here, and we don't have a whole lot, and we have less than 2 inches. We've got about 1 3/4 inches. So if we put this on here like so, that's not going to work. So where we can get the most out of is just like so. So if we're going to cut this at each one at 2.5 inches. Set our board, set our square up here. So we're going to get, here's going to be 1. You're going to, like I said, you're going to lose probably about 1/8 of an inch, give or take. So you got, here's going to be 2. Here's going to be 3. Quite possibly 4. 8 boards. 8 out of this one. The trick is figuring out what's going to work best for you. This one here, if we look at it, it's almost a little too close for what I want, but I can make this work because the flooring is going to be 5/8 of an inch thick. So if we look at this, so I said we was going to get 8 out of this one, and I have a pencil here somewhere at, I don't know which one it is. We'll go ahead and use a pen because these are going to get planed down again. So to give you an idea, let's move this over here so it's a lot, not so high. Flip it over so we got a good straight edge on both sides. So we'll start right here. We're going to make a little mark. Just little marks. Give us an idea of what we're going to get. And what's going to be so unique about this flooring is the wood grain or the wood pattern is going to vary, which should give it a really, really unique look. And this is all we're doing. This is a quick way. Usually you should be using a pencil. I think my pen's about to give out. That's okay. So, kind of hard to say. So, we said we get 8 out of this one. So, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We'll probably get actually 13 out of this. Because by the time I get down to here, I'm going to be probably right in there. Or on this mark right here. So, that being that, we'll go ahead and cut our blanks out of this one. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take these blanks off here. Set them over here out of the way. We're gonna get rid of this. Set this right on top of my panel box. We are going to always, if this brand new table saw don't matter. You always double check your measurements. Another thing, you always want to make sure that blade is just above your material that you're working with. This is a better side. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and double check and make sure that we have, I think we'll go ahead and just cut them at 2.5 inches to give me stuff to work with, because I have some more slabs that I have to bring in the back and get them. See, this thing is off just a hair. I had a piece of wood that fell and hit this, and it knocked it out of balance. So we got that locked in. We're going to go ahead and cut our blanks for this one. We'll plug the saw back in. Again, biggest thing, working power tools, safety, 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 safety. We have a push stick right here, so as you're pushing this through here, you want to try to keep your fingers away from here. These things can take off a finger in a heartbeat. So we're going to run this through there, and I'll show you what we get. So, here's our blank. What we have to do as our next step is we take our flooring, our piece, we're going to set this right up here, adjust our fence over, and get this thing locked in where it needs to be. We'll raise our blade up higher than that. We're just past it. Now, we're going to do one more cut, and then we're going to wrap this video up for the day. So let's go ahead and get this going. Okay, so we'll slide this out of the way. Make this real quick. Remember how I had the jointed planer jig hooked up on the fence, and I could run this down? This is what you get right here. If you look in here, look at that. There's the seam right there. If I push it in, if you look right here, right where my finger's at, it's really, there we go. It's hard to tell. So that's going to go ahead and we'll wrap this video up. I'm going to go ahead and get these set up, figure out what's going to be the best that I'm going to get out of. And these thicker slabs, I have to cut a little bit, adjust the blade up, cut it again, and keep repeating the process until I get everything cut. So anyway, folks, again, like I said, this is part 5, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and show you the next process. All right, take care. Bye-bye.